Welcome back to the Bad Influence Podcast, Relationship Wednesday, where we tell you the truth about relationships. I'm the bad influence that you need in your life, Bjordan Banderas. Have you ever considered that you might be torpedoing your own relationship without even realizing it? Yep, I said it. Are you turning love into a battleground of egos? Or are you nurturing a safe haven of trust? Well, today we're exposing the brutal truth behind self-centered behavior and showing you how to flip the script before it's too late. Think about it. You say you love your partner, but are you really listening to them when they talk? Or just waiting for your turn to speak? Are you considering their needs or checking if they fit into your agenda? That uncomfortable feeling in your gut right now, that gut feeling that you just get from listening to these questions, that's the first step, awareness. Because here's what no one likes to admit. Love doesn't die overnight. For some reason, a lot of people say that it does, but it doesn't. It's slowly choked out by 1,000 tiny acts of self-absorption. Ego creeps in, empathy gets shoved aside, and before you know it, resentment takes center stage. Sound familiar? I've been in relationships like that. So that's why I want to talk about this, because now a lot of relationships that I have seen with my friends and some of the complaints that people put online sound that this is the main problem that they're dealing with. And today we're diving deep into how your ego and self-focus can demolish a once passionate connection. More importantly, we'll give you the tools to dismantle these destructive patterns and rebuild something stronger, richer, and more real. The biggest threat to your relationship isn't a lack of love. It's a lack of empathy. When your world revolves around you, your partner becomes a supporting actor in your narrative rather than a co-creator of a shared story, which is what a relationship should be, right? It's two people working together, not against each other. And this self-centered dynamic festers quietly. You might brush off their feelings as overreactions or justify breaking promises because something came up. I used to do that, not with my wife, but with previous relationships. That's why I learned, and now I became better. That's why I'm a good husband. That's why I'm a great husband, according to my wife. But the problem with doing these things, these particular behaviors, is that over time, these dismissals and broken contracts stack up, eroding trust and intimacy. The tragedy is that most people don't realize what they're doing. No, they just keep doing their own egotistic, whatever bullshit they're doing, not paying attention to their partner, and then they're like, I don't know what happened. They think I'm just standing up for myself. Or if they love me, they'd understand. But, there's always a but. There's a fine line between self-respect and outright self-absorption. If you're feeling a sting right now, good. That's why I want you to feel that discomfort, because discomfort sparks change. Let's zoom in on a common scenario that will hit home and reveal how these patterns destroy relationships from the inside out. So I know quite a lot of people, and I know this couple between them, Carmen and Alex. When they first got together, the sparks flew. They were all over. They were getting annoying. They talked for hours, laughed easily, and supported each other's ambitions. Then they got together, they got married, they've been together for a few years, and lately something changed, something's off. Carmen was telling me that she feels unheard. Whenever she tries to share her day, Alex steers the conversation back to himself. And I know Alex, he's not trying to be cruel. And based on what he's telling me, in his mind, he's just being honest. He's just being honest about his struggles because he's struggling. But he never pauses to ask about Carmen's feelings, her wins, her losses. He's so wrapped up in his own stress, he can't see he's neglecting the person he claims to love most. And a lot of people are doing this. And the problem in this situation is that as weeks turn into months, Carmen withdraws. She stops sharing her thoughts because what's the point? Alex barely notices. He chalks up this silence to her being moody. He's just like, oh, she's just being moody, whatever. She's going through her own things. And when he does that, or when anybody does this in any relationship, the gap widens, intimacy fades, and they're drifting apart, anchored by unresolved resentment. This downward spiral isn't caused by a lack of love. It's driven by self-focused behavior and a refusal to step into the other's shoes. Now that we see the pattern, let's understand why it happens and how to reverse it. Here's the thing. Ego thrives in fear's shadow. Deep down, self-centeredness often masks insecurity. You demand constant validation because you doubt your worth. And by centering yourself, you try to control how others see you, protecting a fragile self-image. This isn't just pop psychology. I'm not making this shit up. The research is online. You can Google it. Because here's the thing. Research shows that people who struggle with empathy often struggle with their own inner turmoil. I've been there. So instead of facing their discomfort, they seek attention, reassurance, and dominance. Your brain learns to crave this power dynamic. Each time you put yourself first, your mind rewards you with a hit of perceived safety. But it's fake security. Short-term comfort, long-term damage. Because you're getting your hit right now, like, oh my gosh, everybody's paying attention to me, all this shit. But in the long term, people start to look at you like, oh, annoying. Like, he's egotistical, she's egotistical, they don't care about me. People start literally walking away. The good news is that your brain can relearn patterns. Oh, yes. You can train yourself to lean into empathy, to recognize your partner's emotions and as valid, and to prioritize unity over ego. I'm talking about this because this is exactly what I had to do with my relationship. So let's break down the steps to achieve this. Step 1, own your role. Stop pointing fingers, which is something so easy to do and a lot of people do. So admit I've been too focused on myself. This honest acknowledgement is vital. Without it, you're stuck defending a broken system. Step 2, practice active listening. When your partner speaks, shut the hell up. Just shut up and listen. Don't plan your comeback. Don't filter their words through your agenda. Just absorb the reality. Understand what they're saying. Reflect back what you heard. Let them feel seen. Step 3. Seek emotional resonance. Instead of comparing their pain to yours or dismissing it, ask yourself, how would I feel if that happened to me? This mental shift triggers empathy and breaks the self-centered trance. So it will help you a lot if you're going through this same situation. Step 4, prioritize teamwork. View every issue as us versus the problem, not me versus you. Because that's the fucking problem right now. A lot of people in the relationships are seeing themselves as me versus the other person, as them as the versus the other person. And they're just clashing. It's like, no, I'm right because of this, and you're wrong because of this. And the other person is trying to defend themselves and be like, no, this is how it should be. And the other person is like, no, it's me. And then they get in bigger fights. And when both of you tackle challenges together, guess what happens? Solutions emerge faster. And resentment doesn't stand a chance. That's very important. You have to work in your relationship so resentment doesn't start to build up. Because once resentment boils over, it's hard to actually control that. Step 5, show appreciation daily. Highlight what your partner does well. Express gratitude for their efforts and acknowledge their contributions. Appreciation fuels positive cycles, reminding both of you that this relationship is a shared journey. This is something that my wife does. I didn't used to do it until she started doing it, or until I realized that she was doing it. Like, she can't work because of her illness, right? One of the things that she has done from the very beginning, when she stopped working, she's like, you know what? Thank you for going to work for us. Thank you for letting me have good health insurance. Thank you for learning new things that let you get this new job. Things like that. And that makes me feel good. I'm like, I got you. And I know she has me. So that's what you need to work on. Step 6. Set healthy boundaries. Empathy doesn't mean sacrificing your own well-being. No, I don't know where people get this. That empathy means that you have to sacrifice your own well-being for the other person, but that's not what it means. It means balancing self-care with care for your partner. This is something that I had to learn because I have to take care of my wife since she's sick. So you have to communicate your needs, but honor theirs as well. Balance is the cornerstone of genuine love. I take care of myself and I take care of my wife. Something that I would say like 10 years ago I didn't know how to do. I didn't know how to do this 10 years ago, and 10 years later from when I got married, because we just celebrated our 10-year anniversary, I'm doing better than ever when it comes to my marriage. And I want people to have that kind of relationship, one that builds them up, not destroys them. Because, again, we have this fucking pandemic of loneliness. And when you're in a good relationship, a relationship that builds you up, that loneliness goes away. So step 7, embrace vulnerability. I know a lot of guys don't like this word, but fuck you, because you need to use it, you need to learn it, you need to know what it actually means. So in this situation, you have to admit when you're wrong, uncertain, or scared. You have to be vulnerable with that, because vulnerability fosters trust. It tells your partner, I value you enough to show you my true self. This dismantles ego's fortress and replaces it with genuine connection. These steps won't feel natural at first. No, nothing is, because change is uncomfortable. But that discomfort signals growth. And that's one of the things that you have to understand, that you're going to be uncomfortable trying to grow within your relationship. You're going to feel uncomfortable when you put your ego to the side and listen to the other person's problems and not try to make it about yourself. It's going to feel uncomfortable. But that change is necessary. in order for your relationship to become something where you feel valuable, where you feel that you can be yourself, where you can actually feel love. Because when you do all of these things that I'm talking about, empathy and partnership become the behavior in the relationship. It becomes second nature, and it builds a stronger, more loving bond. Some of the tools that I had to use or I had to learn how to use, and I tell the couple that I mentioned in the story, is to use journaling as a mirror. Write down moments you caught yourself prioritizing your perspective over theirs. Reflect on what you could have done differently. And over time, you'll see a pattern and learn to pivot faster. Explore couples therapy or relationship workshops. A skilled therapist can reveal blind spots, facilitate honest conversations, and give you tailored exercises to enhance empathy and reduce ego-driven conflicts. This is something that my wife and I did. We went to couples therapy, and it honestly helped us with that. Because we were arguing a lot. We were not communicating. We were making it about ourselves, not about the relationship. So, by going to couples therapy, we fix a lot of the problems in our marriage. And I don't give a fuck what these relationship gurus or whatever they call themselves now say about couples therapy. It helped me and it can help you. All you have to do is decide to try it or not. That's it. Another thing that you should do is to create daily rituals. Maybe it's a 10-minute check-in after dinner where you both share feelings without interruption. There's nothing wrong with not interrupting. Or a weekly activity chosen by your partner that you fully commit to. Even if it's not your thing. That way, at least you guys can spend time together, figuring out what the other person like, what they don't like, stuff like that. Because when you do this, this builds unity and mutual respect. Also, consider mindfulness practices. Meditation or deep breathing before serious talks calms your nervous system, making you more receptive to your partner's emotions and less defensive. Because here's the thing. Healthy relationships don't just fall from the sky. They're built brick by brick through empathy, through understanding, and through the willingness to adapt. That doesn't mean that you have to give up yourself to the relationship. No, you just have to adapt. So whatever you bring to the relationship, even if it's trauma or anything, you can work through it and make the relationship better. Because by nixing self-centeredness, you create a foundation that can handle life's storms. And believe me, life will send storms your way. It could be financial. It could be health. It could be anything. And if the relationship is not strong, if the relationship is built on quicksand, guess what's going to happen? It's going to crumble. But when you embrace a partnership mindset, you and your partner grow together. Conflicts become opportunities for deeper understanding. Achievements become shared victories. Love becomes something richer than any romantic fantasy. This growth spills over into other areas of your life because when you practice empathy at home, you're more compassionate at work, with friends, and even strangers. That's a change that I have seen in myself. You evolve into a person who uplifts rather than undermines the world around you. So ask yourself, what legacy do you want for your relationship? One defined by ego and isolation, or one built on unity and genuine connection? The choice is yours. Choose wisely. And when I tell people all of this, because like I said, I know quite a few couples that are struggling, and when they see my relationship, they're like, I don't know how you did. So I give them the steps. The pushback that I get is this. And I know that a lot of you listening to this have probably the same kind of pushback. One of the pushbacks that I get, or one of the things that I always get told is, but what if they don't change? That's a good question. But guess what? You can't control others. You can't influence them, though. You can influence them. Your shift towards empathy sets an example. Often, your partner softens as they see your genuine efforts. Another thing that I heard is, but it's hard. Of course it is. Growth always is. Let that motivate you. Hard means valuable. Hard means important. Hard means you're on the brink of a relationship breakthrough. Another fear that people tell me is, but I'm afraid of losing myself. And that's okay. Because healthy relationships balance individuality with togetherness. You don't vanish. You evolve. And by embracing empathy, you don't become less, you become more. So here's the bottom line. If you've been sabotaging your relationship with ego and self-centeredness, now's your chance to rewrite the script. Acknowledge the problem, commit to empathy, and watch as love transforms into something extraordinary. Don't just listen, act. Implement one step this week. Maybe active listening. Maybe a daily check-in. Whatever it is, just start. And when you see positive shifts, push further. Don't just stop. Keep pushing further. You deserve a partnership that thrives on mutual respect. You deserve a partnership where love grows each and every day. You deserve a partnership. You deserve a relationship that actually can handle life's problems, life's storms. You deserve a relationship where both of you can sit down and figure out how to overcome the challenge in the relationship. Because when you do that, when you have that kind of relationship, all I can tell you is that your life will change. You're not longer in just a relationship for the sake of being in a relationship. You're in a relationship that fosters growth, that fosters your independence, that fosters your true identity. And that's the kind of relationship you deserve. And that's it for today. Share this episode with someone who needs it. We're all in this together, building a world where relationships are not just disposable but cherished. When we learn to serve each other, we all rise. This is the Bad Influence Podcast with your host, yours truly, Bjordan Banderas, stripping away illusions and calling you to step up. Remember, love blossoms where empathy, vulnerability, and teamwork rule. Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe, review, and spread the word. Let's spark a revolution of heartfelt connections and smash the barriers of ego builds. Your relationship deserves better. Go make it happen and have a great day.